My granddaughters, Haley and Emma, spent the weekend with Nita and I, and as you might imagine, the conversation eventually came to investing, and they don't have a brokerage account, and they were asking me at their age, and they are 18 and 22, what should they be investing in? And I said, you should be investing in for the long haul. You should be putting money into a Roth IRA, which you can do $6,000 a year. They both said, well, what should we invest in? I said, invest in the future. That's where the world is going, and that's where you want to be. What is that? Artificial intelligence, big data, and health cure. Yes, health cure. And so I sat down and with them, and I said, let me tell you how I think about it, what I think is going to change the world, and let's come up with 10 stocks that you should invest in for your future. And that's what I want to share with you.
Best of Us Investors presents Carrie Griegmeyer.
What I explained to them was that we're living in a world that is changing more rapidly than it ever has in the past. And it started back in the early 90s with the digitalization of the world and then the globalization of the world. And that has brought us to where we are today. The most important event that has happened in my 77 years is that of the corona crisis, because it pointed out that the world's healthcare system was broken and we're all susceptible to diseases from all over the world if we don't have a system by which to cure them. And then also that has brought us to the point where we're getting in more knowledge as a result of artificial intelligence, and we're able to take diseases out of the body. Those are the things they needed to invest in. The fact that we have artificial intelligence, we're going to have machine learning, we have a healthcare system broken, we're going to de-globalize because we recognize our supply chain is broken, and those things are going to implement change. That's going to obsolete some companies, and it's going to bring some new companies to the forefront that they can make exponential growth in. But still, there are some very large companies, such as Amazon, Google, Apple, and Microsoft, who hold the data, and then NVIDIA, who process the data, that are going to make this healthcare revolution available, this de-globalization possible, and that is what's going to give the growth opportunity to young people. I then went into a Roth IRA. I explained that a Roth IRA gives them the ability to put aside $6,000 of earned income each year, and that earned income, although they don't get a tax deduction for putting it in like a conventional Roth IRA, that money in the 10 stocks I'm going to give them, that they invest in them, and as they grow, the growth in them are not taxed when you take the proceeds out in your retirement. So this is a retirement investment strategy. It is identify those stocks that are going to grow. And again, is it a lifetime investment? No, because they got 40 years and things change in 40 years. 40 years ago was what? Back in 1980. Has things changed from 1980? Yes, Sears Roebuck is gone. So is Polaroid and Eastman Kodak. The world changes. So is this a lifetime hold? No, because they need to pay attention. What does that mean? That means read the documents, read the books. I'll share with you in the description the books that I recommended that they read. I also told them, go to Netflix and watch these movies. These movies will educate you not only on how the stock market works, but how it sometimes doesn't work, and then how you can maneuver as a result. The whole thing of the world is to educate yourself and to be more knowledgeable than the next guy, and then choose the game you want to play in. It's like I say, choose your niche. If you're interested in something, such as Haley has her own business in social media marketing, well, understand it. Understand who are the companies in social media marketing who are going to change the atmosphere, who are going to change the playing field. And when they're young and they're virgin and they're just coming into being, that's when you want to invest in them. So find your niche, study your niche, and move forward in that direction. Okay, what are the 10 stocks and why are these the 10 stocks I think they should own? Okay, let's start with the top of the list, and that would be Amazon. When I say Amazon, you think about all the stuff that you buy from Amazon in the boxes that show up on your doorstep. When I think of Amazon, I think of Amazon Web Services. This is the data collection. This is all those apps out there that you participate with that collect data from you, and the data has to be stored someplace. And Amazon Web Services is the biggest storage of data in the world. The other thing I think of Amazon is Alexa. I have a Alexa Fire TV, an Amazon Fire TV. My wife has a Kindle. Alexa's associated with them. Alexa listens to everything that we say, and that they do, and they collect data on us. Data is king, and as we move into the future, advertising is going to continue to be built around data. I believe someday you will own your data, and Amazon will pay you for the use of your data, but nonetheless, Amazon is a key player relative to data. Second to that is Google. Google is also a collector of data. Google provides me with a Fitbit that measures my heartbeat every moment I'm alive. Also measures my sleep patterns and my exercise patterns. Google is going to be a big player in the healthcare field. They hold data, so they also have the ability to process that data, as Amazon does, through artificial intelligence, which goes into machine learning, and they both will end up with quantum computers that will make the processing of that data and the ability for you to make good decisions in every aspect of your life essential for your future. So you need to own Amazon and Google. For the same reasons, you need to own Microsoft. Microsoft runs much of the computer systems around the world, gathers data, processes that data. We just saw Netflix reach out to Microsoft to help them increase their advertising budget or their advertising method within their channel. So we recognize that these people have the ability to process data. Data is going to be king. They're going to be involved in the healthcare fields, and that brings us to Apple. Apple is also a collector of data. Although Apple is not the biggest owner of phones, they own about 15% of the phones around the world. A bigger part of it is in the United States. They gather data from all the apps that you use on your phone and then process it. Apple also has a system of gathering information through voice information, by putting listening devices into your phone. That data is processed and stored and then used in your future life. The next one would be NVIDIA. Someone has to develop the chips to process this data, to sort it and dice it and slice it, and then feed it back to you in a usable form. The best processor or best manufacturer of chips and the most advanced chips are in the gaming field because they require more precise use of data and processing power. Amazon is one of NVIDIA's largest customers, so I want to own NVIDIA at this point, and I want my granddaughters to own it. Then we get into the health cure field. The world of health cure is going to be driven by CRISPR. CRISPR is a process by which our body naturally has first responders. When something goes wrong with our body, the CRISPR part of our body goes through our 30 billion of cells and makes any correction that might occur. I think the easiest way to think of that is if you cut your hand, your CRISPR will come and heal that and basically take care of it. Now, there are some things they can't do. They're out beyond the capability of our body to take care of the problems. These are mutations. These are adverse things that have happened in our bodies, in our ancestors' bodies that we have inherited. They are mistakes in our genes that we have created through our ancestors. They have created an ability to add to CRISPR a cassette that goes to these mutations, uses scissors to cut them out and replace them with a proper mutation that our DNA that will cure a disease. What kind of disease? We're talking about heart disease, cancer, liver diseases, sickle cell anemia, childhood blindness, you name it. There are millions of them. And this is a science that has been being developed since 2000. In 2000, to get your genome sequenced, it would have cost you $1 billion. Yes, that's with a B. Today, it will cost you less than $1,000. And more than likely, within the next 2 years, your insurance company is going to pay for it so that they can take the diseases out of your body that are going to kill you, that cost them a lot of money in the last 6 months of your life. So we are going to have a health cure revolution. I believe the leaders in that are these people here, and these are the companies that they own. That is CRISPR, Editas, Beam, Caribou, and Nutella. These are the people, these are the Bill Gates and the Steve Allens and the Steve Jobs and the Steve Wojciechs of the 1980s. These are the people who are on the cutting edge of what's going to change our world, and that's where I want my granddaughters to invest. Now, do I recognize that these 10 companies may be replaced by 10 other companies in the next 10 years? Yes, because science is moving that fast. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, quantum computing is going to change the world to where it isn't going to look like anything that you represent today. So with that in mind, I want my granddaughters to educate themselves and be astute investors. They don't need to go crazy like I do about it, but understand and pay attention that the world is changing. To give you an example, these are 6 videos that I've made in the last week. And these 6 videos basically tell you of the overall changes that are happening in this world. We are de-globalizing. That is to say, we made a mistake when we opened ourselves up to the dependence on countries around the world, whether it be China, India, Vietnam, or Russia, whether it be oil, whether it be stuff, whether it be electronics, whether it be computer chips, whether it be auto parts, whether it be respirators or masks. We are dependent on other countries, and that makes us vulnerable. So we are de-globalizing. That's another thing my granddaughters need to pay attention to. We have a movement right now between Russia and China to basically bring together the third world countries that represent 1/3 of the trade in the world, but 2/3 of the population, and they want to replace the United States as the superpower. They want to align. China is spending billions of dollars in Africa to build an infrastructure such that Africa is dependent upon them, much as we are now dependent upon them, but much as we are making the decision to become independent from them at the same time. We are approaching a war. Now, is this World War III? Is it going to involve missiles and nuclear attacks? I do not know. But I do know we are going to enter into a war for economic dominance. And that is going to be between an alliance, I believe, of Russia and China, and possibly even India and some of the other countries in the Middle East to lead the third world countries that we have ignored in South America and in Africa, to bring them up to a standard. That is their bet. That's something that I've gone through in these 6 videos, and that's something I'm telling my grandchildren, my granddaughters, watch those videos and then pay attention to what's going on in the world right now. Understand why Joe Biden went to Saudi Arabia, to arrange so that they will produce the oil to keep Europe heated so that Europe doesn't have to put their allegiance to Russia. That's why they went. And the fist bump is nothing but a bunch of bullshit that the media wants to play with. The reality is people are choosing sides for the next world order. My granddaughters need to understand that. They need to pay attention to it. They need to watch my videos every morning so that they know what's going on in the world and they stay informed. That is my task for you, to share my ideas, my 77 years of experience, so that you can make good investment decisions so that you can learn to keep more of what you make, so that you can build a wealth that you can pass on to your heirs and make a difference in their lives. That's what my tribe is all about. If you want to learn more about that, go to bestofusinvestors.com and we'll talk to you later.